I think we just witnessed a very important, perhaps I even say historic moment in the General Assembly in the 21st century. 143 votes. It's amazing. What is not amazing, what is very bad for Russia, that only 4 countries are on the right side of history. I think that the countries made the right choice to defend the principles of the United Nations Charter and to follow the Charter in their everyday life, deciding on the issues of national security and national development. I would like to express my sincere appreciation to all countries, irrespectively of their size or geographical location. I would like to express our sincere appreciation to our European, North American, Latin American, Central American, Asian, Pacific partners, because they show that we can be united in spite of all the criticism that oftentimes we hear from different quarters, from our politicians, from our citizens. The United Nations is here. The United Nations will carry on according to the Charter. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sergei. It's really, really wonderful to be here with you. Today is a monumental day. Sergei described it as historic. It's historic as well. We just saw 143 countries affirm the fundamental principles of the UN Charter. You saw these countries stand up for territorial integrity, they stood up for sovereignty, and you saw these countries stand up for this institution. After Russia's sham referenda and attempted illegal annexations, you saw very few countries stay in their corner. In fact, it was only 5. It's pretty much the same 5 we've seen with them before. You heard Russia's lies today in front of the General Assembly, and all of us heard those lies, and we all stood up against them. And when you look at the very short list of countries who joined them, it's not exactly good company. Instead, the international community soundly rejected the affront to territorial integrity, to national sovereignty, to peace and security. And today's vote has a practical effect. It means that in the eyes of the world and the United Nations, Ukraine's borders remain the same. Kherson is Ukraine. Zaporizhia is Ukraine. Donetsk is Ukraine. Luhansk is Ukraine, and Ukraine remains Ukraine. The resolution also sends an enormously important signal to Moscow and to everyone. It does not matter if you as a nation are big or small, rich or poor, old or new. If you are a UN member state, your borders are your own and are protected by international law. And that goes for every single country in the UN. They cannot be redrawn by anyone else by force. The UN was built on this idea, and today the United States and the overwhelming majority of the world defended that idea. We defended the UN Charter that embodies that idea. And we were proud to vote with the world today. And tomorrow and the days and the weeks to come, we will continue to defend Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity, and we will continue to hold Russia accountable. We will continue to isolate Russia in this institution, and we will continue to honor the UN Charter and the international protections that we all have agreed to, and to make for that will make for a safer and more secure world. So thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to say that it's a pleasure to stand here today together with Ukraine and Sergei. We've worked together and behind him every step of the way to reach the result that we just reached. And I think it's a resounding message that speaks to the world. Russia has tried to silence the Security Council. They have not been able to silence the international community, nor the General Assembly, nor the United Nations. The result today is a resounding statement that rejects Russia's actions and considers them illegal. The sham referenda, the alleged annexations, all of it is proven today will not stand and is declared as null and void. And and simply has no validity. The resolution today is very clear on that. Some of the most, I think, passionate and important statements today were made by small countries far away from Ukraine, but expressing the concerns of every continent and every country in this General Assembly hall about the fears of what Russia is doing. I ask the world to pay attention also to those statements. Finally, I want to say that a fourth element of this resolution, which is very important, is an appeal to peace and to a peaceful solution. But that peace has to be based on Ukraine's territorial integrity and sovereignty. Thank you very much.
By the large number of countries who supported the resolution, given the fact that it's even larger than the one in 2014 and the resolution against the Russian invasion at the beginning of March. And do you believe that the Russian Federation is getting the message that you have today? Thank you.
I can start responding to that to say that in a way we are not surprised, because I think this is the reflection we've heard in all our conversations around the world. But yes, it is a very good result based on the Russian pressure that they are putting on some of these countries when they vote. So I think it's a great success, and I think it's a resounding message to Russia that they are and remain isolated, and the action they take are putting them in that corner of isolation every day even more firmly.
I can say I was not surprised, but I was delighted to see the numbers. We were all holding our breaths as the numbers rolled in, and it's a strong, strong signal to the world and to Russia that they cannot intimidate the world. They thought that they could call for a secret ballot, and that somehow a secret ballot would get them more votes, and they were defeated in their efforts to work against transparency. So again, this is a message to Russia. It's a message from the world that they need to cease their aggression against Ukraine.
Well, thank you, Linda. Thank you, Olof. If I could, I would show you my smartphone, and you would see an incredible number of text messages I received in the course of the last 3 days from my fellow ambassadors who were taking the initiative and assuring me of their vote today in the General Assembly Hall, which shows, at least to me, that the sincere level of support of the principles of the UN Charter and of territorial integrity of Ukraine is incredible. I would tell you I'm also ambassador to Trinidad and Tobago, which is a small country in the Caribbean. And I would like to refer you to a very powerful statement by the Foreign Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Emery Brown, in the General Assembly Hall. Listen very careful, once again, to what he said in the General Assembly Hall. What he said even before Ukraine was hit by the missiles last week. And I'm proud that Trinidad and Tobago, along with many other small countries, voted in favor. Many of them have sponsored the resolution, and they are on the right side of the history, and they will be on the right pages of the manuals and textbooks of history.
Ambassador, what is your message to countries like Nicaragua, Belarus, that voted against this resolution? We know that Eritrea is one of the countries that actually went from going against to going and abstain. But what is the message to those countries that is still by the side of Russia, knowing now what has happened in the past few weeks?
My message is that we profoundly regret that their governments have made the wrong choice against the UN Charter. And I hope that those countries will reconsider their policies and reconsider their commitment to the principles that they signed or to the principles they ratified when joining this organization. There is no future for them if the world is not secure. And the security of the world depends on the united action by everyone in the General Assembly Hall, including by them. I regret that there are 4 countries that voted with Russia, but I also am impressed and inspired, but there are only 4 countries that voted together with Russia.